Hello everyone and welcome back here on Thursday the 28th of March 2013. I'm of course Kevin van der Kooi, also known as RotterdaM, and with me is, never have we ever had a handsome man as this on the set next to me. Next to me is Samuli Rompanen, also known as Fuzer. Fuzer, how are you?
I'm doing good. I don't know what I need to say over here, but I'm saying something. We are over here to do some replays.
Yes. For you people wondering, what are we going to do before we're going to go into things, we're just going to chat a little bit. I want to do a little PvT show today, because obviously PvT is quite a hot debate right now in Heart of the Swarm. Everyone, including myself, I have to admit, was screaming a little bit in the start, like, oh my god, this matchup is impossible, I don't know what to do, Terran is so sick right now, you cannot go up to 3 bases, etc, etc. Now after 2, 3, 4 weeks of play, we are starting to feel that it's perhaps not as bad as we thought. I do think it's safe to say that Terran in some sort of the game definitely has an edge, but then I thought, like, okay, so I can sit here and talk about my, well, Master League, high Master League level games, or I can actually invite someone on this set who really has something useful to say regarding this matchup, hopefully not too biased. For the people who are unfamiliar with Fuzer, Fuzer is currently ranked 1 Grandmaster League NA. He reminds me that like 384 times a day, so every time I walk in my house, because Fuzer is currently staying with us here in Rancho, he makes sure that I can see the big 1 next to the Grandmaster League logo. But yeah, you've been playing a lot, haven't you, Fuzer?
Yes, and it's kind of exciting to play the Heart of the Swarm. I can finally win games.
You can finally win games. In Wings of Liberty it was a little bit tougher.
A little bit tougher, against Turk at least.
So before we go into things and before we start talking about strategies and whatnot, how's life been here in California? What made you decide to come to California? Because for the people who are unaware, Fuzer is from in the Finland.
Well, in Finland it's like minus 30 Celsius at the moment and snow everywhere and so on. Over here you can't even find snow, so it was kind of obvious to come over here to run away the snow and cold. So
Is that the only reason you came here, the weather?
no, I like you as well.
Oh, you came for me. How have you been enjoying the practice so far? Because in general people always say that the European server is a little bit tougher than the North American server. How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm number 1 at the moment, so it has to be that it's a little bit worse than the Europe one, but I think it's kind of good. For me, it's only about playing games, because on Europe I was kind of lazy because I was living alone. Over here I have more people with me, which gives me more motivation to play games, because I know that someone is always watching behind me. Am I actually watching new episode of some series, or am I actually playing? So it's making motivation to play more games.
All right, Fuzer. Well, it's awesome to have you here, and I'm really curious to say what you have to say about the matchups. What the plan is for today's show is that I asked Fuzer to bring me 3 replays, preferable 2 that he wins, 1 that he loses. We went over it real quick, and I like the ones that he picked because those are definitely topics that I'm sure that you guys out there would love to know a lot about. Fuzer will obviously speak from the Terran point of view, while me on the other end is going to ask lots of questions from the Protoss point of view. And after that, I want to show 1 replay to Fuzer as well, even though he's probably going to tease me about the level of play of my opponent, but it doesn't matter. Because I kind of have like this build which I'm starting to feel like kind of okay with, and I do not think that it's like something that would perhaps always work on the absolute highest level, but I would like to know what he thinks is good about it and what's bad about it. And at the end of the show, we're going to play a little game against each other, which will be fun too, right? We're just going to sit next to each other, I will look at his screen, he's not allowed to look at mine, and then hopefully I can make something happen.
I will 2-rax you.
Then I will 11 the gate and make sure I scout the entire map. Alright, so I'd say we are just going to jump into the first replay that Fuzer decided to pick, so we can jump on my screen and we're going to watch the game from Fuzer's point of view. Fuzer, I obviously want you to talk as much as possible. This show is not about me, it's about you. You are the much better player here, and I'm pretty sure that people would love to hear how you go through a game like this. Now also guys, what we're not going to do is like stop the replay every 10 seconds, put the camera back on us. No, we're going to kind of go through it quickly, but I will pause it every now and then if I really want to ask something or if Fuzer really wants to make a point.
Okay.
Alright, Fuzer, so you play PvT on Excellent Ways, or TVP. What do you think? Ship them ladder points, bring it in? It's in the bag?
Well, it's a good map for Terran, so I don't need to complain about it.
So how have you been opening in general? In this game, I believe you will open up with a Reaper. Is that something you always do, and why do you like the Reaper opening so much against Protoss?
Well, Protoss can't really do anything on the early game, so Reaper is really good. They cannot really punish you of doing it, and you will always know what they are doing over there, so it's the safest way of opening against Protoss, and you will always see what they are doing. So if they are going 4-gate or Stargate, you will always find it out really fast, and you can play safe.
Do you think it's crucial with Stargate being as popular as it is right now, that you do open up the Reaper and that you do get the information that you perhaps normally don't get?
Well, I don't know. Some players like to do that. They just make a bunch of Marines and they know if they are going to play against Stargate, they will have enough Marines or whatsoever. But I like to know what my enemy is always doing. And it's nice to prepare. And like sometimes if they make a Stargate, I need to make an engineering bay really fast because oracles are kind of good.
Alright, so you trap the probe immediately, you pick it off, then you're gonna send the Reaper across the map. Are you ever worried about a different kind of aggression, like maybe a quicker gate with a really quick chrono boosted Stalker, or do you think the Reaper will always spot that kind of stuff in time and you don't have nothing to worry about?
Well, only thing which is like a countering this build straight away is like a proxy gateway under my ramp, and I can't find it. And they, when I leave this barrack away, they're just coming with Zealot and Stalker and destroying everything. But that's not the case this time.
Alright, so I want to ask you right here. Okay, you send the Reaper in the base. You are going to pick off a probe immediately. That's awesome. Right now, all you see is 2 pylons and a gate. Are you immediately worried about proxy stargates and whatnot?
Well, I scouted the whole base. I see only 2 pylons and 2 gases. So if there is a 2 gas, it almost instantly tells you that it's going to be some sort of tech. And because I see 2 pylons only, I know that he's going to proxy something. So I'm straight away sending SCV most likely and scouting with the Reaper a wall map. And so I know, is it maybe proxy Robo, proxy Twilight Council, proxy Stargate. And the opening I'm doing over here is safe against all of those 3. So, but it's just nice to know which one of it actually is.
Alright, I pause the game right here, right now. You do find the Stargate, but it's on the final moment. What is the immediate thing that you think about? On this current moment, you only have 2 Marines. 2 more Marines are on the way. What do you think is the right thing to do? Because you see that Oracle, it's gonna fly in. And because you open up with the Reaper, you don't have as many Marines as you would perhaps have in another scenario. So what is the first thing that goes through your mind now immediately?
Well, I know the Oracle is gonna kill a lot of stuff on my base because I only have... how many Marines I have?
2, and 2
Marines.
more on the way.
I need 6 Marines to kill the Reaper. I mean the Oracle. And I only have that little. So I need to run away and like run as far as possible and try to wait until the Oracle energy is out.
So you mentioned something to me before. You think it's crucial that you don't try to fight the Oracle too early on when you only have 4 Marines, right?
Yes, because the Oracle will actually kill them all. And he actually failed over there. Like right now. He's sending the Oracle next to the Widowmine and Widowmine one-shots it. But when I have 6 Marines, I can actually kill Oracle. And it's really stupid from them to start fighting 1 against 6.
Alright, I just want to pause the game real quick once more. Right now you lost, I believe, 9 SCVs? No, you lost 7 SCVs, you killed 2 Oracles. I think that's not all that bad. But I also think that the Protoss could have potentially done more damage. Aren't you worried that sometimes with your Reaper opening, when the target is this quick, that you might end up losing even more SCVs?
Yes, sometimes, but to be honest, I kind of failed my build order over here. I was a super block when I was supposed to do the first 2 Marines, so it's okay.
Alright, gonna fast forward right now. There is still 1 more Oracle harassing, but in this moment you have Widowmines out. This guy, not the best Oracle control of all time, ends up losing those Oracles. I guess right now you're not all that worried anymore since he lost 3 Oracles. Yes, you lost a handful of SCVs, but I guess from this point on you already figure out, hey, I'm gonna be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and it's really important to keep the Reaper alive, because you want to know after something like this happened, has he made an expansion, has he made maybe Robo, maybe Twilight Council in the base, what is he going to do? So you can like maybe do extra bunkers to your base and so on. Like if you can choose, do you want to kill 1 probe or get away with Reaper, you should always get away with the Reaper.
Alright, so don't sacrifice the Reaper just to kill 1, maybe 2 probes?
Yes.
Alright, so you get a good scout off. Is there right now already something that triggers in your mind? Alright, this is what Protoss has right now. I see the timing of his expansion. I also saw that he didn't have a Robo yet. Do you feel right now that on a certain moment you will be able to muster out an army that has more DPS than he can handle?
I think this replay was like a week ago, and I wasn't really sure what's the right response when you see 3 gates after Stargate. So I was thinking that, okay, maybe I should just be aggressive, and that's what's happening. And he gets me off guard, and he's killing a lot of stuff over there.
But overall, this is still not too bad. You're trading Marines for very expensive gas units, right?
Yes.
So I guess in the end of the day, this only means that Protoss will have less stack, that you will still be able to build more and more Marines, and eventually, as soon as Stim is ready, you probably have nothing to worry about?
Yes.
Alright, so right now the only thing that would go through your minds is just build more SCVs, get Stim ready, get Medivac's out, and then I'll be good to go.
Exactly, you should never go out without medivacs. When you have the medivacs, you can go out as much as you want because you can't actually lose the medivacs or lose marines because this boost is kind of good.
And you also keep one missile turret in every base. Obviously, once you know there is a target out on the map, you always want to get at least one missile turret, one widow mine.
Exactly, because you don't need the widow mine. If you just have a one missile turret, that's enough to kill the Oracle. And Oracle can't do too much if you have good reaction time.
Some people at home might be wondering right now, you haven't really scouted this main for quite a while, but I guess that has everything to do with what you actually did see in the game.
Yeah, I see 3 warp gates, and I see that he used a lot of gas for like a void rays, stalkers, sentries. So I don't need to worry about too much about the tech, what's coming over there.
Because whatever he has can possibly kill your army, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we see you moving out right now when Stim is about ready. First 2 medevacts are going on the way as well. I guess this is like a timing that you perhaps normally wouldn't make, but you really made because you saw those void rays when you headed out at first, and you also know what the time of expansion, right?
I knew that he couldn't have a High Templar or anything like that, and if he might have something, I can just lift off and go away. And I don't think he has an observer at his timing. Only thing that can detect mines is Oracle with the
vision.
Yeah.
Alright, here you can see you lose quite a few units, but you have widow mines in good positions. And your army obviously has quite some endurance because you have those medevacs around.
And I'm only losing minerals for gas units, which is really important.
Certainly after the start that Protoss had, that he already probably didn't have the best tech ever. Scan, you pick up the observer. That's something that you often emphasize on, correct?
Yeah, you should always, when you see observer flying, you should always destroy the observer because it's really important to not give any info about your army, about your tech or anything. They can't counter-attack, and in Hardest Farm you can fly away or harass so fast and so quick, so it's even more important in this game.
On this moment, when you pick up most of your units, you want to drop. I guess you just want to have a big drop in the main because you figure this army is in the natural. Were you a little bit shocked when you saw that he was on 3 bases, or you didn't worry too much?
No, I knew because the pro was going over there, but what I was thinking over here that maybe I should go over here first, so it's a longer distance to his main base. And after that, just go quickly his main base and try to snipe some important buildings like Forge. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I get 1 Forge. And it's really good to destroy the Forge.
This is like when you go Colossus tech for a Protoss, this is so frustrating because you just don't have too many units, and if they have to walk all the way around all again. Astarion, you can basically do this for days until Protoss has enough units, but he doesn't have that many units because he traded so many gas units early on, correct?
At the same time you are, by the way, harassing, you should always make the 3rd expansion. Because Protoss can't do anything.
No,
What was the question?
Because you, no, never mind. That is just hard for him to defend against the drops because he lost so many gas units early on.
And my upgrades are 1-0 against 0-0. And it's really important to have the damage upgrade against Protoss. Over here I'm attacking over here, so same time I'm dropping into his main base, so I know that I'm trading against some minerals for gas, and I can delay his like a high tempo tech upgrades as much as possible, so I think this trade is still really good, because same time I'm destroying the forges which are making upgrades.
You just basically keep dropping, keep the aggression on, macro behind this, and you know that slowly but steady Protoss won't be able to keep up with your army. I must say he actually did a reasonable job in getting a sort of serious army out, but he just didn't really have the tech to absolutely deal with your army. And as you mentioned as well, your upgrades are going to be quite a bit better. Certainly since you picked up one of those forges.
Exactly. It's really important to keep the Protoss upgrades away. If you have a huge upgrade advantage, you can't actually lose the game.
Protoss units will just melt. We see him defend a little bit longer. I'm just going to speed forward right now, guys. As you can see, this is slowly but steady, kind of just snowballing out of control. Fuzer has way more units, keeps being active with those drops. The reason why this Protoss is not able to deal with the drops is because he invested so much early on in all those target units, and he did not do the damage that he needed to do. So we can just fast forward, yada yada yada. He's researching Storm right now, but that's 22 minutes in the game. That's a little late. Fuzer lands some EMPs. Not the best EMPs ever from Fuzer, but actually, you hit quite some units. Wasn't too bad. Not too bad for you. See that? I want to ask you one more thing as well. The addition of Hellbats in this army. How crucial do you think it is?
I think it's really good against Colossi and everything because they are tanking so much damage, they are killing the Zealots, and you can basically A-move now. In Wings of Liberty, you had the micro a lot back, but now you can just A-move and destroy the army after a good EMPs.
So you're the Protoss of Wings of Liberty.
Yes,
Terran became the new A-move army.
I like it.
This is why you're rank 1. You can finally A-move your way to victory. I do notice this as well in my own games that like, wow, those Hellbaits, they help out so much. Because in both ways, man, they deal an insane amount of damage against charge loads. But they're also so good in soaking up the damage against the Colossus. Obviously, you had quite the adventures in this game for a little while on. But I do think that you did a very good job in like never overextending, dropping in the right moments. And eventually the Protoss was for to call GG. So a couple of crucial things I want to ask, like for all Terran fans out there, but also for Protoss players. In the opening, you open up with this Reaper, which forces you to stay on like a lower Marine count for a little while, because you get the reactor after that first gas. So do you think that the Oracle openings are good against the Reaper, because you only have 4 Marines, or do you say like, no, as long as Terran handles it fine, you're safe?
I think it's okay opening, but Protoss players need to like start seeing the map and where the mines are. So press this button, by the way.
Yes, I will. No worries.
Okay, so they actually need to watch more closely the map, and they need to, because you can see where the mine is, and if you lose 1 Oracle to 1 mine, it's a horrible mistake, like horrible mistake. That should never happen. And when you get like 4 Oracles, 5 Oracles, it's really hard to stop them with Terran.
What do you feel like? I guess keeping the Reaper alive is a crucial thing to do for a Terran player to figure out whether it's an Oracle bust of 1 base or if the Protoss player is expanding behind it. I guess this is one of the most important things to keep the Reaper alive.
Yeah,